In Chapter 6 of the Baki manga, we witness the beginning of the fight between Kosho and Hanada. Both fighters had arrived at Mothoba's dojo to test their strength and determine which fighting style was superior. Kosho started the fight provocatively, attacking without rules or respect. He began by trying to deliver dirty blows such as a kick to the groin, but Hanada managed to deftly dodge the attacks. Hanada praised Kosho's skill but criticized his unorthodox fighting style and doubted his ability to defeat Hanma using such dirty tricks. Kosho just laughed and demonstrated his prowess by attacking Hanada while he was distracted, managing to cut his cheek with his fingers. The tension escalated when Kosho revealed that he was actually trying to end the fight quickly, hence his attempts to surprise Hanada with unexpected blows. The confrontation reached a new level when Hanada took off his jacket to fight more comfortably and accepted Kosho's challenge. Using his jacket, Hanada tried to disorient him, but Kosho, displaying his agility and technique, sliced it in half. The previous chapter ended with Kosho mocking Hanada, questioning whether he would use Mothoba's fighting style, as he seemed to be using the environment to his advantage. This week's chapter starts right where the last one ended. Hanada picked up his jacket from the ground and, using his foot, threw it at Kosho in an attempt to distract him. In the next panel, we see Kosho slicing the jacket with his fingers from a different perspective. Hanada appears serious with a smile on his face, as if his opponent's speed isn't a big deal. Kosho again asks if he will fight using his own style or what he learned from his master. Kosho mentions that the Mothoba style involves using any type of weapon to complement offensive attacks. Even explosives are part of the arsenal in this fighting style. He says all this goes against professional wrestling, so he's intrigued to know Hanada's response. Hanada admits it's true that his master's style involves weapon-based fighting, but he won't fight that way this time. In fact, he says he will never use that style again because he has developed his own fighting style. The Hanada style is based on bare-knuckle fighting using the fundamentals of professional wrestling, but there's a notable difference between his style and wrestling. In professional wrestling, wrestlers must fight while trying to preserve their opponent's physical integrity. That is, both must perform a choreography where, although some techniques are real, most of the moves are designed to cause the least amount of damage possible. Hanada states that his fighting style takes the basics of wrestling, but without restrictions, meaning he doesn't have to worry about his opponent's physical health. Mothoba interrupts and tells them both to stop talking and start fighting. Apparently he was getting bored of so many words and little action. Well, I think he represents us too, as we all came to see a fight, not a conversation. Hanada laughs and admits they have indeed been talking quite a bit. Kosho lets out a sigh and immediately launches into an attack with a swift kick to his opponent's head. Hanada managed to dodge the kick but still receive a cut on his left eyelid. It was as if Kosho had attacked with both feet at the same time. Kosho doesn't waste time and attacks again, now throwing a punch at Hanada, but again it is dodged. Kosho gets serious and starts delivering multiple strikes to different parts of his opponent's body. Amazingly, Hanada manages to block most of these blows using his great speed. Taking advantage of the fact that Kosho was close to him, Hanada grabs his arm in an attempt to throw him to the ground again. He had failed the first time, but now he was confident that he could make him kiss the ground. Incredibly, Kosho managed to reverse this technique and somehow bounced off the ground to land on his feet very softly, practically receiving no damage. Kosho admits that was close, but thanks to his reflexes, he managed to avoid the dangerous impact. Definitely, if he had hit his face on the ground, he probably would have sustained significant damage. Hanada says this is a new move he had been practicing recently, but the only time he used it in a real fight was against Hanayama, and it was very effective then. Probably this technique is more effective against larger and heavier fighters as they have less time to react to the impact. Suddenly, we see a red liquid beginning to flow from different parts of Hanada's body. He says he was surprised because he was unable to counter his opponent's speed despite being able to see his every move. Hanada says that if he had not defended himself, the result would have been worse. He asks Kosho if this is his real fighting style or if it is something new he used for the first time with him. Kosho says this is his own style, the Shagi style. When you fight against this style, it doesn't matter if your eyes can see its movements. because your body won't react at the same speed as your brain, and he takes advantage of that brief moment to inflict as many cuts as possible. As both fighters discuss their fighting styles, Mathobe interrupts and declares that the fight is over. Kosho and Hanada are surprised and ask why he is stopping this fight, just as it was getting interesting. He says that the purpose of this fight has been fulfilled as both fighters showed their true styles, and there was no point in continuing as it could lead to fatal consequences. Hanada questions his master and tells him he can't be serious. This is supposed to be a real fight. Mathobe tells them that it is better not to try harder for today. After all, the real fights will not be in this place but outside, and they should already know that. I think what he means is that the important fights are not held in a dojo, but in a bigger coliseum, and I think we all know which is the most important coliseum in Tokyo. And well, that's the end of this week's chapter. There is no mention of whether there will be a chapter next week, but it is likely that Itagaki will take a break again. Some may find this chapter boring and lacking in action. They may be right, but I think there is some narrative value in these last two chapters. In this fight, we saw Kosho Shinagi's new fighting style. Remember, he previously used his fingers to cut nerves and ligaments of his opponents, a technique that required great precision and sometimes failed to cut his target. Kosho's new style is different as he now uses his fingers like sharp blades, allowing him to cut any part of his opponent more quickly and accurately. It could be said that his fighting style didn't change but evolved to a higher level. Hanada said he didn't receive serious damage as he managed to dodge many of Kosho's cuts, but I believe Kosho wasn't attacking with the intention of seriously hurting Hanada. Otherwise, he would have targeted vital points, not arms and legs, as he did this time. This fighter only wanted to show off his new cuts and incredible speed. Moreover, we saw that his reflexes have significantly improved. Now that I remember, Kosho always had quick reflexes. Remember when Yujiro went crazy in the underground arena? That time Kosho faced him and managed to dodge one of his punches. It would be interesting to see how Jack handles an opponent as agile as Kosho, and I also want to see how Jack will dodge Kosho's cuts. I remember someone mentioning that Kosho could cut the ligaments in Jack's jaw to weaken the strength of his bite. That could be possible, and would be a smart move to stop Jack's offensive attack. There's not much to analyze in this fight. Both fighters simply wanted to prove that they had improved their fighting styles, but neither wanted to be the first to show their tricks. Kosho only wanted to test if his cuts were as fast as he thought, and it seems they were. However, he should keep in mind that Jack and Hanada are completely different, so he shouldn't rely on the same tricks always working. Jack is bigger and more resilient than Hanada, so a couple of cuts won't be enough to hurt him. The only way Kosho could inflict significant damage would be by attacking vital points to try to weaken him, a tactic similar to what Jack used against Nomi. In that fight, Jack targeted Nomi's vital points from the start, and then it was only a matter of time before the Rikishi collapsed. I think Kosho could use a similar strategy because in a hand-to-hand combat, he stands no chance of winning against Jack, who is bigger and stronger than him. Do you think Kosho could neutralize Jack's dangerous bite, or will it be too big a challenge for him? Leave your answers in the comment box. For now, that's all, but stay tuned to this channel to find out what happens in the next chapter. And well friends, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you liked it. I hope you have a nice day or night. See you soon.